Big Brother begins now.
2 months, 1,414 hours, and 7 votes later, we have our first winner of Big Brother Basics Season 1. Congratulations, Tom. How does it feel?
Yay! Thank you. Feels great. I was surprised by how nerve-wracking it would be to speak to a jury, but I guess I've never had to do that, so feels
okay,
great.
Move on.
Just falling short, second place, Brandon Hodges. Thank you so much. How's everything going through your mind right now?
It's going. I'm very happy for Tom. I feel like if I was going to lose to someone, I'm glad that it was him. So he played an amazing game. And he has the best beard here, so he should win for that, definitely.
Fucker. I'm gonna grow mine back. I'm gonna beat you.
So there was a lot of things that happened this season, and there are certain questions that have gone unanswered until now. You're getting the exclusive footage of what really happened in front of everybody here at Big Brother Basics.
I'm so basic right now.
Let's start off with Nick. Because Nick is trifling, trying to come into this game with Chris. He didn't even tell production about it, and he was lying in his diary room.
Oh my god!
It was like, he was saying, oh, I wonder. Wait. So like the head of household, they have to list 4 people that they would like potentially nominate, and Nick listed Chris as one of them. It was pretty funny. So Nick, tell us about your and Chris' relationship. What is he up to right now?
I just texted him about who the winner. He said, "Good for you, Tom." Yeah, Chris is actually the one who told me about the game and told me to apply, but obviously we wanted to keep it a secret for a reason that we would be targeted and for a good reason. So it was super fun playing with him, but I did pretty well on my own, so you know.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you. It was a lot of fun, especially considering that it was just your second profile picture where it was you and Chris. Like, it was super easy to find. It was.
Yeah, like we really didn't hide it very much. I just didn't think anyone would really look, but I was wrong.
It was pretty funny too, because there was footage of Chris literally saying, "Nick won HOH, and I don't know how to feel about it." And so, like, I called him out in the episode. You best believe it was pretty funny. So yeah. I don't know. Let's just start from not even before the first HOH competition, the Outsiders Alliance. We created a 5-person group before the first head of household competition. Kyle H., you're kind of like reacting a little bit. Tell me a little bit about this Outsiders group.
Oh my gosh. So it started off me, Simon, Matthew, Mateus, and Marie. And we were so gung-ho about this. I mean, it kind of started with Matthew and Marie and Simon, and it kind of just, it folded out. I know I was talking a lot to Matthew and Marie at the beginning of the game, and I know Mateus was in there somewhere. So I remember before the first HOH, we were like, every single round when someone was getting eliminated, we were like, we're that much closer. Okay, we have this many people still in. And then freaking Nick won it, and we were like, oh my god, we're all fucking screwed. So, the Alliance had so much potential. I think when Marie dropped off the map, I think it crumbled from that point because Marie acted as a little bit of a glue in there.
I want to say something.
Wait. No, the Alliance fell apart when Mateus put you up.
Shut the fuck up! Because you are going to people and telling that I'm going for them. Fuck you, bitch, little liar. You destroyed the Outsiders because me, Simon, and Kyle H was about to have another card when we was only 3 of us. And
All I
Lucy,
was gonna say was that Marie was actually like gonna end up being a good player if she could have stuck it out. I know no one would have guessed that about her, but that bitch was able to talk to everyone, and like people wanted to talk to her. And the only person I think she ever hated was Jamila. So I think the minute that Marie left, I think we'd already started seeing fractures. And I'll admit, like when Matthew started talking to Kyle S. and Jamila, it started getting a little sketch. So, like, Simon, Mateus, and I kind of went one way. But then Simon and Mateus were also with Matthew away from me. So, it had so much potential, but no one, except for probably me and Matthew, could stay loyal to it.
yeah, that's true.
Something that was interesting. Let me get the floor. Something that was interesting, and Simon, I'll get to you in just a bit, was that you all had a common enemy in Jamila. And this was before the first head of household competition. You all agreed, we need to get rid of Jamila. She has to go. What was the reasoning behind that? And Simon, I'll kind of let you get
bitches, you fake-ass bitches!
Okay, here's what happened. Pretty much with Jamila is that first night when I came on call, like, everyone knew I was out of place. Like, it was just uncomfortable. And then I think it was Matthew who messaged me, and he was like, I'm sorry how they treated you on call, blah, 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 blah. And then I was just like, Jamila, what's the worst of it? She was like, I'm not, like, trying to attack your character at all, but, like, you were drunk, and you were, like, just saying shit that was making people uncomfortable. And, like, we all were just like, she's such a social player, and blah, 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 blah. And then we were just like, we have to get the bitch out. Like, we just have to. And then we just continuously, every week, it just became, like, more and more of a threat. So we were just like, we want her out. So, yeah.
Can I say, because I'm a likable person and I know how to converse, I am not, like, a bitch or anything. I'm just likable, so I know, like, that's why I came up. But, like, you shouldn't blame me because I can converse with people. Like, there are other people who did it. I think I was targeted because I was a woman, and that's fucked up. And I did not make anyone uncomfortable. You can always come to me. That is a lie. No one ever said I made them uncomfortable. I made you uncomfortable because I was uncomfortable talking to someone who was under 18. That's the only reason.
Well, I mean, like, you know I adore you, but the thing is, like, you should have been more, like, mature enough to know that, like, hey, there's an underage kid in this cast. Maybe we shouldn't talk about sucking, like, I don't know what you said. I don't remember.
Everyone else was a part of that conversation. It was not just me.
Well, then, in general, you guys should have been way more mature.
So why are you targeting me with this? Because I'm a woman and I stand out.
No.
Yes,
What
that's
happened?
the only reason.
No, it wasn't. No, that's not what happened. At the end of the day, what happened is that you became a social threat. That everyone liked you, no matter what. There were people who didn't like each other. Like, I know, like, at the beginning of the game, I just didn't like that popular clique because I felt like an outsider. And it just felt like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. And at the end of you were just the target. You looked like the leader of that group. You were just a social threat. We wanted you out.
I stood out, right? I stood out.
Yes.
That's a good question, though. Can I ask a question?
Even outsiders and alliances aside, the Jamila Simon feud in week 1 through 3, that's fire. That's bringing the ratings up. Y'all's gameplay and talking in your diary room, it was just on point. And something I kind of want to commend Simon on is that he kind of got the outsiders to be on board with what was his biggest threat, which was Jamila. Jamila was never going to give him the time of day because of his age. And Simon was like, you know what? I feel like Jamila is coming after me. I'm going to get a group of people to also want to get rid of Jamila. So I think, Simon, you did a fantastic job basically manipulating the outsiders into doing what you wanted to do.
I just want to say, Jamila, like, you know I adore you. Like, it was only game. Like, it wasn't personal.
So
no,
something else.
I just think in the game in general, being the only, like, woman, I did feel like anything I did was magnified. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, also, me too. I was 16. I had felt like everyone else is above 18. You know, I felt targeted too. That's the main reason why it was called The Outsiders. I mean, just we were the outsiders.
And something else.
I mean, I did enjoy our little thing, though. It was kind of fun. It gave me fun stuff for my diaries.
No, I loved it. I thought the feud was great.
Y'all were both outsiders for different reasons. Jamila was one of the only women in the cast. Simon was underage. Something that y'all both had in common was Marie, so maybe y'all could have flew together and worked together, but y'all didn't get that together, so unfortunately that didn't pan out. But something that did pan out, the last four and the call that lasted, 4 hours or hours and hours, were Brandon, Tom, Max, and Jamila. Even though this group wasn't technically a solid alliance group, this is something that kind of was as well. Like, isn't that right, Tom? Like, you mentioned something about this group actually being legitimate.
Well, we did actually make a solid alliance. Like, I don't think that like anybody saw it as like an end game alliance, because like there were other people who I felt fit in, like Kyle S. But it was just like when we were part of that call at the end, we were like, well, we should really like work together, kind of. And then we were taken out at the beginning of that HOH by, I guess, the outside group, the outsiders or whatever, without realizing why. And things kind of crumbled after that. And then Max ended up leaving. So
let me ask Kyle S. Because Kyle S., I feel like you were very influential with the way that the tides were turning. You, Jamila, and Nick were really close. Y'all were in a lot of group calls together talking about what Nick's going to do for his nominations. Then you find out about the Chris-Nick factor. How come that influenced your decision on to vote out Max over Matthew?
Oh my god, I have so many regrets that first week, but I was just like, I thought me, Nick, and Jamila were so close, and I was so pissed off at Nick because he just wouldn't budge on putting Chris up. And I was like, something is fucking up, like, I can't even believe it right now. And then the day of the eviction, Matthew messaged me at work. He's like, look what I found on Facebook. And he shows me this picture of Nick and Chris together, and I fucking freaked the fuck out at work. I got on Skype and I started messaging everyone. I was like, oh my god, this can't be happening right now. I can't believe this. Like, I was ready to vote out Matthew, but I was like, you know what? It's time for Max to go. We have to go after Nick and Chris next week. Fuck these bitches. I'm so tired of their shit.
Yeah, we wanted to get out him because that's who Nick wanted to get out Matthew, so we're like, fuck that. And then my diary rooms are so different. Like, at first it's like, I trust Brandon, Tom, Kyle S., Nick, and then it was like, actually, fuck Nick. What the hell? He's an alliance. And then I was like, no, I like Nick again.
Okay, I have a question. Did everyone except me talk to Nick, like, that first week?
Sorry, what?
Why specifically? I'm just so confused, because it seems like y'all talked, and I wasn't even there. I don't even remember what happened.
So, Nick, you can kind of explain what happened when it was you and Matthew in the round 2 of the Wheel of First Impressions competition.
Oh, well, yeah, so, like...
very influential with Matthew being nominated.
Yeah, so, like, Matthew, you and I just hadn't talked, like, you were probably the last person that I talked to the whole game, and then when we were in the round together, that was probably literally the first time I was ever on call with you or anything, and you were like, hey, let's make a deal that, like, if either of us win, we won't nominate each other, and I was like, no. so for that that's kind of like the main reason why I nominated you, because you asked me that, and I wasn't sure if that was being recorded and was going to be displayed to everyone, so I was like, that was just like that, and you were the person I just had the least relationship with. It wasn't like anything like that. But then, like, when I nominated you initially, that's why I wanted you up. Then when you came out and outed me and Chris as being friends, that's when I really, really wanted to target you. But
that was after.
Right, that was after I nominated you, but before that...
It's all in the past, Matthew, but that was the reason why, and you can take it or leave it. The next thing I want to talk about is the fact that nobody from the Outsiders left, yet there's absolutely no trust in the Outsiders from this point on. Like, y'all win the next 3 HOH competitions, and Matthew, I see you laughing because you won 2 of those 3 HOHs. Tell me what was going through your mind when you were winning Head of Households and still having Outsiders on one hand and then kind of Tom and Brandon on the other.
I know, it was like, I was stick with Tom since day 1 or day 3 because we didn't contact every night. But then I was like, 4 people can't win game. I can beat Brandon at competition because he sucks so much. And the only thing that was, I was so close to Tom. We made so many bonds on everything ever. And I didn't feel this same way with Matthew and Kyle S because Kyle H seems like little game board when we asking him about names. He always said, "My heart is here and my head is here," and I think this cost his game, to be honest. And The Outsiders was a pretty little bit bullshit for me, and I have it in my confessional since day one. So bitches, I played you all.
Matt, to you, something else that I would like to ask you. You won
Yes.
HOH week 2, and you would think that, hey, the person in the previous week, one head of household, they'd be the best look if I nominate them immediately. You did not care. You found out about the Nick and Chris relationship. You nominate Nick and Chris, and then the rivalry starts. Matthews versus Nick, and it carries out for the rest of the season. Tell me a little bit about why you targeted Nick and Chris so early, especially after Nick.
Because this is what everyone told me to put, and for one day I wasn't about to put Nick, but this bitch lied to me into my face, and he knows that he did this. But this is what the house want, and I told Nick that he will be fine without Chris in the house, and I was right.
Awesome, thank you so much.
I think that our conflict was pretty funny because we
It was
lasted
fun.
longer.
It was super fun.
Awesome. Let's talk about the infamous week 3. Simon, thank you so much for winning HOH that week because the bomb dropped. It was absolutely insane. We know we nominate Kyle S. and Jamila. Okay, we get it. Your ally, Mateus, wins the veto. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting invited into a Skype Google Hangout with you, Mateus, Kyle H. Is it Kyle H as well? Jamila, Kyle S. I'm trying to figure out what's going on as the host because I thought I knew that the veto wasn't getting used. What happened that week?
So, I mean, Keith, I told you if I was going to win HOH for a week that I was going to fucking make sure that it would be the biggest week. And obviously, it was. But what happened is that I will fully admit that Jamila and Kyle S., they played me. And they played me good. They put some spell on me when the veto was used. I was like, holy shit, oh my god. But see, like, my mistake is that I didn't talk to Brandon about all the information that was given to me. But if I would have talked to Brandon about what they just told me before the veto, I would have told Matisse not to use it. But pretty much just what happened is that Kyle S. and Jamila, they gave me good information. And at the time, that was pretty much the only information that I got that HOH week. So I was like, well, shit, like, I have to do something about this because, I mean, yeah, so.
I was really happy that you did something because I was messaging Brandon. I was like, hey, you should really join the veto ceremony. Please join the veto ceremony. I'm on my knees.
No idea. You gave me no clue to even like think that anything like that was gonna happen. Like I thought me and Simon were cool. I had like no idea, like not even like an ounce of idea that Simon would do that. Like of anyone, I never thought Simon would do that.
I was played, like, full out. Jamila and Kyle S., they played me, and congratulations, like, that was a good...
I did the damn thing.
Oh, God,
it was a great
So I was
and
just like, Kyle, like, we're going to be nominated. They're going after me. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not going to campaign against my best friend in the house. And then I was like, we have to blow up our fucking alliance. They're not fighting for us, so fuck it. And I just, you know, I threw Brendan under the bus, but I felt like he didn't have my back, so I didn't care. So,
I didn't have your back, but honestly, like,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Every week I told Simon to put up Nick and Tom and Brandon, and no one ever freaking did it.
Because that wasn't a good plan, my goodness, Matthew. You
Oh,
stick
my
with
God.
this like for 3 weeks.
Okay, Tom, you had a question. What was the question, Tom?
I
Oh,
wanted
sorry.
to know why Mateus. Okay, so remember when you like told me like I'm using the veto and the replacement's gonna be Matt, and
I know what
we
happened.
didn't know, like why were you lying at that point? Because I was so
Because
confused. And then like I
I'm-
spent like so much time defending you to Nick, be like Mateus had no idea that this was gonna happen. He's
that was the
total-
plan because
So-
I didn't want like I know about this plan and we with Simon agreed to tell people that I didn't know.
So
And-
my question for Mateus is, if you knew it was happening, why did you work so hard the next day to keep the person that you just had put up?
Because you showed the recording thing.
Because you what?
the recording video.
But I mean, before I showed you the recording, like you were working hard to help me, but the day before you were like put him up. So I was confused about like why one day you're
Because
like.
I was close to Kyle S. At this point of the game, we were so close. I mean, like, maybe not Arians, but I like him and I use it. And it was like funny to blow up something like on week 3 that people wouldn't expect.
I do have to say, like, I really hate that Jamal and I were in that predicament. Like,
Actually, yeah, let me get that point because Brandon and Jamila, thank y'all. Y'all were some of the most active people at the beginning of the game, and it was so awesome to see both of y'all have to fight for your lives that early. It kind of felt like unjust. Like, why is it happening this early in the game that we get to see Brandon's social skills versus Jamila's social skills and campaigning? And that's also why I'm really glad, Simon, that you put up Brandon because it was like a battle of the greats, and I was able to just witness and watch. And I know that week, Jamila and Brandon were campaigning, saying the same stories to the same people over and over and over again. It was exhausting. Like, it was so draining for both of them. And honestly, from a host perspective, thank you so much for playing the game. It was really, really awesome to see. But yes, Brandon, Jamila, any comments during your face-off?
I love Jamila. Like, honestly, like, I don't want her to ever think that, like, anything that happened that round was ever personal because, like, I may have not had her back because she was my threat in the game, but like honestly, I wish I was against Kyle because I felt closer to Jamila because she was part of that group of 4. So like I really wish I was up next to Kyle at that point, and I really hate that kind of like happened to me and Jamila because I feel like that's kind of ruined something. But I love Jamila. I've never had anything super bad to say about her. So.
I don't hate Brandon. That's not my problem. I guess my problem was, like, when you were saying the recording thing, you're saying, I would never say that about someone. That's just awful to say. I was like, so you're saying I'm a bad person? But I just doing funny confessionals, like, you talk shit, but it's really about the game. Like, I think everyone's a wonderful person, but if I'm going to say something funny and I'm mad at someone, I'm like, you know, you fucking cunt. Like, I don't know. Like, but I just felt like that was a little much. But like, overall, it was a really good week, and, like, I got to see who was, like, fighting for me, like, back and forth what people would say, and I will say that that week, I think, got Brandon to the finals. Like, everyone made a mistake that week if you wanted to get to the finals, and I think we saw that today.
So yeah, that was really, really awesome. I really enjoyed that. Something else I really enjoyed, whenever y'all tried to get a large alliance of people together, so we had the Outsiders week 1 that flopped because Nick won, and then we had, what, the Pussycat the Idol Dolls or whatever that happened week 2. It was like at the end of week 2, Chris just got eliminated. Nick wants to go find Tom and Brandon and Jamila Kyle S. It was like a 5-person group, and then Simon wins HOH. So it was so perfect. Every time a large group started to form, somebody outside of that group won HOH. It was just really awesome and entertaining every single round to see. Thank you all for having minority power, just winning HOH when it counts most. That to use kind of solidified his comp threat level by winning the 4th head of household, starting to reel in the game. And now you're kind of having to show your cards a little bit. I mean, you were able to nominate Kyle S. and Nick, but had the veto been used, your game's kind of gonna get exposed a little bit. And the veto was used. Kyle S. was able to save himself, and what was left was you had to make a decision between Brandon and Tom or the Outsiders. I think it's very clear that you were not on the Outsiders bandwagon. What made you choose Kyle H over everyone else in the Outsiders?
I was like, everyone told me Tom and Brandon, and was like, fuck no. Because I was pretending Brandon last week before, and I couldn't put Tom, so I have to choose Matthew, who did nothing in this game. And he voted to evict with me Jamilia, so I pretty feel like maybe I can trust him for a week. And then it's left to Kyle H, who didn't say me a name, and he was fishing for information till the last second of Jamilia eviction.
Gotcha. Kyle H, how did you feel when one of your own alliance members nominated you?
So I think the ultimate downfall of my game was missing that POV the night before. So I take a lot of blame for leaving the game. I had an incredibly busy week that week, so I knew at that point in the week, I was just like, I am falling apart. I cannot wait. And when I woke up and saw that Kyle had taken it, I'm pretty sure I either went to Simon or Matthew, and I was like, I know I'm going up. I told one of them, I was like, I know it. There's no way he's putting up Tom or Brandon. It has to be me. So I remember Mateus had asked me for a name or something, but I didn't want to give a name because at the time I was trying to make it work with Kyle S. I had just basically poured my heart to Brandon, like, I am not voting for you, and I'm not doing it just because I think it's good for me. Like, I literally was like pouring everything, and then I got nominated, and I was like, yeah, it's happening. So at that point, that night, that Wednesday night, I knew I was getting backdoored. Damn. That Thursday, I wasn't even gonna campaign. I told myself, I was like, you're gonna go home. Nick is solid. You shouldn't do it. And then I was like, do you know what? No, like, this is not the game you're about to play. So then I fought really hard. And then I left for a while and got a little drunk and came back. And that's when finally, like, Brandon, who said he was going to own up to me that he was voting me out, didn't even tell me. So I
did tell you.
You never messaged me.
I never messaged you that you were going?
No, the only people who did were Kyle S., Tom did, and then Simon did right as we were going. And at that point, once Simon had told me, that is when I, like, everything just shattered. I was like, and that's, I mean, the minute I got voted out, I called my friend Jamie, who was following the game pretty much, and I was like, I am sobbing over here about this stupid game. I was so mad at myself. I was like, I look like a damn idiot giving this speech begging people to save me, but I knew if I was going to leave with a memorable exit.
Made me cry, then you cut me out. It was so painful. Like, I was crying in confessional after this.
Kyle, I will say, like, I wanted to work with you so bad, but, like, sometimes it was hard because you, like, I think we were all paranoid, but it was so hard to get any, like, concrete, like, trust of, like, names or information from you, and it never made me feel like I could, like, want to work really closely with you, because even like other people that I was working closely with, even if they threw out names that they weren't really meaning to throw out, like, they said something. I think for me it was always hard to, like, trust you. I'm like, he can't even tell me a name. Like, how can I?
I never wanted to tell anyone a name because all y'all bitches ran to each other. I swear, I would be talking to like. No,
but you did this card and Jamilia eviction and calling everyone who is voting for, and you will say Jamilia. And you are going to everyone.
No, I wasn't. B, like, I would be on call with Matthew. I'd be like talking to Matthew, and then Jamila would message me and be like, "Matthew's saying my name," and then all of a sudden, like, Tom would message and be like, "Hey Kyle, how's it going? I feel like we need to talk," because he knew that I probably just said his name, and like, I mean, it was impossible. I was literally like, I cannot tell anyone anything because, and like. I even remember a conversation I had with Brandon at the beginning, and Brandon was like, yeah, like, definitely, like, if I can give you any help, like, don't be that person that copy and pastes messages or tells people things. People will want you out. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. The only time that I ever did it was to the outsiders because for some goddamn reason I thought it was a real thing. But, I mean, I wanted to be that one person who was like, you know what? I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. I'm going to be genuine. And then fucking the goodness of my heart got me the fuck out, so...
Okay, the Outsiders was a real thing until Mateus put you up.
Okay, the outsiders was never fucking a real thing. I was pushed into that alliance. I didn't want to work with you guys. Like straight up.
Me and Simon didn't want to work with you,
we
Matthew.
didn't
because you were
like.
boring.
It was
and
never really. I never wanted to work with you guys. I would never want to work with that group of people. You guys brought down my game. If I had to pick who I wanted to work with, it would have been Tom, Brandon, probably Mateus. Like I don't know. Like you guys fucked me over. Like, I don't think
I that for a split second. I legitimately wanted Simon to work with us, and that was right before the round that I got put up. So I was like, no! I was literally asked Tom. I was trying to.
That was
Simon.
during the round you were put up.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question though.
Simon, I did not hurt your game at all, though.
Okay, wait, Kyle. I have a question for you though, Kyle H.
Okay.
Day one, I think it was night fucking one. You asked me for a final 2. Was that legitimate?
I would have stuck to that like nobody's business. You can even look at my confessionals. I was like, do you know what? Simon is going to have a hard time in this game because he's younger. And I was like, do you know what? If I am one person in this game who is willing to show that I'm going to show my allegiance to, it was going to be you. I do not think, the only person I don't even think I ever asked for a final 2 with anyone else. It might have been Matthew the week I went home. But I don't think I asked.
But it was just weird. It was so early in the game, and you're like, I really like you.
What the fuck was I supposed to do? Nick put my ass up because I wasn't talking to anyone. I had nothing to work with. I was like, all these bitches know each other. They all act like each other. They all have all this time to talk to each other, and I'm in fucking grass.
None of us.
Awesome. That was awesome. I'm going to reel it back in so we can get through the rest of the game. So at this point, Kyle S., I am so sorry because you're at the bottom of your morale at this point. Your closest ally, Jamila, was just evicted. You were just tested the next week because you were on the block. You're expendable to the house. You're basically riding solo because Mateus just got everybody that you were working with to flip on you. You're by yourself in this game. You win veto. Tell me how things are going now.
Oh my god, winning veto was like being on top of the world. And at that point, I was like, this is my chance to get back into the game and rekindle my alliance with Tom, Brandon, and Nick. And so I took the opportunity with Mateus, so I was like, you know what? You should definitely put up Kyle H. He will totally stay over Nick. I was like, it's a great plan. Nick will go home 100%. And the second Kyle H goes up, I messaged Tom and Brandon. I'm like, we got to talk right now. But I felt so bad because I know that Kyle H trusted me at that point. And it was super hard to tell him. I waited till the very end. I was like, I don't want to be that person who waits till the last minute to tell them how I'm voting. But I was just so I was so sad, and I felt super bad for him. And then I get a call from Simon literally at 9:16, and he's like, who are you voting for? And I'm like, the majority's voting for Kyle. You should do it too. Oh my god, it was such a crazy week. But yeah, it sucked. I was riding solo, and I had to do whatever it took to get my footing back in the game because Jamila leaving was a huge blow, and it was really depressing when she left.
Got a lot of comp wins under your belt too, so congratulations. That was awesome.
Thanks.
The next question is for Tom. Tom, you were over at my place when you won your veto accidentally. You didn't really want to win the spelling competition because you wanted to hide the fact that you're a competitor. But you win HOH and you win the veto. You're starting to develop this resume early on. Was this kind of part of your plan?
Well, I didn't win an HOH early on. I only won a veto. Okay. But no, that was not part of my plan. I actually kind of could have done a longer word, but I thought maybe someone would get beat. But I also did want to establish myself somewhat as someone who's going to try. I don't know. I really felt like I got really lucky that Marie was expelled because that took away the one option that I had to really help the Pussycat Dolls and piss off Mateus. So I just had to when she left, I was so happy because it was just all right, well now I get to do nothing and no one's pissed at me, instead of if I do nothing and then the whole alliance is pissed at me, or if I use it and then Mateus and I are probably in big trouble. So I just got really, really fortunate that Marie didn't continue to be active in the game.
Yeah, I was also surprised that Simon put up Brandon instead of you because I thought like if he wanted to go after Brandon or Tom, he would have went after Tom, because I was looking at Brandon's confessional, Simon, and he really was your advocate. He was rooting for you. He was all rooting for you. How dare you? And then you nominate Brandon. It was just really, really funny.
I get it. I made a mistake. Yeah. I should have.
I'm glad you come back, because I was like totally like, Simon, I will show you my DRs. Like, I will show you. I was for you. How could you do this?
I was fucking scared. You like called me, and I was like, holy shit, he's gonna rip out my vocal cords and like put them in my eye. Like, I was so fucking scared. And then it was like you kept yelling at me on call, and I was like, please stop.
But I thought
did
100%
think
that I was going to be nominated. Like if you look at my face in that veto ceremony, I'm like petrified the whole time, because right before that veto ceremony, Matthews and Simon gave me conflicting information, and I was just like, fuck, that's a red flag if I've ever seen one. I'm going up. And then he gave that speech about how there's a snake in the grass. I was just thinking, like, I've been totally two-timing. And then it was Brandon, and it was just like, oh, this is really the last thing I expected, but...
Blame
I
Jamila
was
and
thinking,
Kyle.
if there was ever a week for Tom to get tested, it was week 3. So
I don't think so. I
whenever
think it
he
was
escaped
Simon.
week 3, I think Tom was able to just kind of coast and get into his social groove. And he did just that, and he started winning competitions too. But Tom, you were head of household when Matthew got eliminated, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you won HOH and veto then.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Is there a
correct?
follow-up to this?
Okay.
Or
Yeah. Because that was what I was referring to when you were building up your resume at Final 7. So how do you feel now that you have like 3 competition wins under your belt? You're basically the same level of comp threat as Matthews, but I believe the perception in the house was that Matthews was a stronger competitor. Why is that?
I mean, part of it I think is the competitions that I did win. Like Kyle could have easily won that competition that I won for the HOH, but he submitted the wrong answer and he got it before me. Like, I didn't know the correct answer for that. It was just kind of like I was closer to Kyle, so that's kind of why I won, because he took out Brandon, and then he got eliminated. But then also, I think like I kind of was trying to like foster things with like Matthews and Brandon, and then Kyle and Nick separately, and like ride the middle of those 2 alliances. And that made it, I think, harder to evict me than otherwise it would have been, because like that was pretty much it. I just was in the middle of 2 alliances, and I was kind of like a core 3rd member.
Gotcha. And Matthew, I want to go to you next, because you know what? When you voted to keep Kyle H, I was rooting for you. I wanted you to win the next head of household competition, because I thought you had the most fire, least amount of loyalty around, and you could have done whatever you wanted to do. But you ended up getting evicted. How'd you win HOH that season, or that week? I'm very interested. Who would you have nominated?
Probably, honestly, Nick and Brandon.
Gotcha. Interesting. Very interesting, very interesting. So yeah, that's just kind of my curiosity. I was rooting for you, but unfortunately you were evicted, and that was very, very sad. But then we get...
Yeah,
But
I
then
think
we
that
get into
POV totally screwed over Matthew, by the way. The whole like POV into...
That was some bullcrap. I had
Because-
absolutely no time to stay.
Yeah, because we did go directly to the eviction after the veto ceremony. So yeah, that was very interesting. We go into the fast forward week. It finally happens at Final 6. Nick, you were that forward week. Congratulations. How did it feel? I was thinking I was finally going to get Tom and Brandon's head on a silver platter, and then you nominate Matthews and Simon. I was like, what's he doing? Why is he doing this?
I made a huge mistake. That's what I did.
Tell me a little bit about your thought process.
Yeah, you did.
So, like, obviously I wanted Matthews gone, like, 100%, but I'm an idiot and like, I was so blind to the fact that, like, Tom and Brandon were actually super close to Matthews as well. Like, it should have been so obvious that Tom was riding the middle, but I was like, no, Tom will support me. Like, I know I have obviously I have Kyle S. Tom and Brandon will support me, right? And then I was so pissed at Brandon, like so pissed. That's the only time I ever had like a confessional where I was actually mad. When I was bitching about Brandon using the veto. I was so mad. And
The one time I actually won something, I'm glad that you were pissed.
And I felt so bad for Simon because like I straight up lied. I was like, Simon, definitely if I win, you won't go up. And what do? I put him up immediately. So like, he had every reason to be pissed off at me. I was happy I survived Kyle because Kyle was my #1 ally at the time. So I was just really happy me and Kyle were safe. But obviously that day did not go the way I wanted it to.
You were floating in dangerous waters, Nick. Like, you always have to think, if you don't put up a duo, they're in control of who goes home that week. They could care less about who your target is.
I know.
And so I just thought it was really interesting that Brandon and Tom were safe from the block, and
Simon was so close to winning.
Kyle S's ability, whereas Simon, he was a free agent. You could have probably brought him in.
I know.
I was so fucking mad. I was like, I spent so much fucking time on this game, then to fucking get evicted because of a mistake. Like, and my favorite moment, like all season, my favorite moment, besides Jamila being evicted, was you being like, wow, Simon, you're right. And I was like, damn right, I'm right.
I know. Well, at the time, I didn't want to I thought if I kept them safe, they would support me in getting rid of Mateus. Obviously, I was.
But there would only be 5 people left. What do you need support for? That's all.
Can I ask Mateus,
Okay,
really...
Oh, I was just gonna say to defend Nick.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say to defend Nick. He literally
was begging.
Was a tiebreaker competition away from winning final HOH. That was a mistake on his part, and it cost Simon the game. But Nick really almost won this game in my opinion, and it very easily that final competition could have gone the other way.
There is that thing that if you win, that was Brandon going to final. If Nick win, that Brandon is going to win, and Brandon did nothing in this game, and this is problem.
Also, as a viewer and as a host, you want to see people tested, Tom. And so, seeing you and Brandon float by week to week, kudos on your social game, but it was frustrating to watch. We're trying to figure out who's going to test Brandon, who's going to test Tom, who's going to have that on their resume to present to jury. And unfortunately, nobody was able to do that until...
I ended up on the block that week.
What was that?
I was on the block that week.
Yeah, only because it was between you and Kyle.
Yeah, because Brandon used the veto. Don't act like it was because of your social ability. It was because Brandon used the veto on Mateus, but you weren't going anywhere.
But I would like to know if Mateus, he was like, should we get out Tom or Simon? Would you have really voted for Tom, Mateus, or are you just bullshitting?
No, I was
seems like you've been bullshitting
to Tom.
It seems like you keep saying all this crap about me, and I'm a little, I think you're just joking, but I wonder if you really would have voted Tom out at that point, or if you...
But Brandon, to be honest, what did you did in this game expect saving him once?
Okay.
To compare to
I got farther than you, Matu, so there you go. So you can,
I was about to save Tom.
I may have lost unanimously to Tom, but I got farther than you, so.
I'm so sorry, but I still love you, but on game level you did nothing almost.
All right, so Nick is not able to compete in HOH. Simon just gets evicted and is off in bitter jury land. And Kyle S. is basically fighting for a head of household on his own. And he pulls out the win, a very important head of household competition.
I disliked this challenge, kind of.
I was so proud of him.
Oh my god, I was so happy I won. I was like, Nick, the only way both of us are going to stay is if I win this motherfucking HOH. And it felt so good. But yeah, Nick, I think you're making us echo.
Oh, sorry.
Yourself. Yeah, so winning HOH was super awesome. But I was totally worried because I was like, fuck, I'm not going to be able to compete in the next HOH for the final 3. So it was definitely a hard spot to be in, but my goal at that point was to keep Nick safe and get out Mateus, because honestly I was so blind at that point. I just wanted Mateus out. I just wanted to get this bitch out because everyone in the jury was like, as we were leaving the game, it's like, I want Mateus out. He'll get my vote. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get those votes. So I was like,
another thing that you said in your diary room is that you wanted to be the last new player standing. Was that kind of blinding you to maybe the Brandons, the Toms
It was blinding me so hard. Like, I knew I should have gone after Tom and Brandon. And when I won the veto that week, I was like, I could get out Tom right now. I was like, I'm thinking about it. This might be the best move I could do, but fuck Mateus. I have to get this bitch out. And so
they were both threats in their own way. So it was your call at that point. You had complete control that week, and you decide to get rid of Mateus. You go into the next week. It's down to 4 people. Down to 4 people. It's crazy. And I would have never guessed at the beginning of the game that it would be down to Kyle, S, Nick, Tom, and Brandon. That's ridiculous. Head of household. Final 4. Is that Tom? Tom wins head of household with a veto win from Tom as well. He keeps Kyle up, rub his roses, rub his feet a little bit, just make him feel nice before he gets backdoored. And then uses the veto on Brandon, sends home Kyle S. And then, the Kyle S. Let's talk about that veto competition, because I thought you were going to have a leg up as a gamer. It was based on the video.
My God.
Tell me what happened in that competition.
I'm so fucking mad about that day. Like, I'm a fucking Mario Party champ. Like, my friends would unplug my controller when I'd play Mario Party with them because they hated that I would always win the bonus star at the end of the game for most mini-game coins and most mini-game wins. So I was like, fuck yeah, this comp is tailored to me. I'm going to win this veto, make it the final 3, and get Brandon out, and it's going to be awesome. But it came down to the final competition. We were all tied 10-10-10. And it was this competition I'm really good at, and I just fucking choked, man. Like, I'm really good at like staying focused and like hiding the nerves because I'm like competitive playing Smash Brothers, and my heart started pounding so hard, and I just couldn't think, and I just forgot everything that was happening, and it was so terrible. I could not believe it. So I don't know. It was just really bad, and I knew at that moment that I lost the game, and I was like, God damn it, Tom's gonna get me out. I hate this little bitch.
Well, correction, Brandon will get you out. Brandon voted you out.
Right, but I mean, Tom had this really strong back, and he's like, you need to get out Kyle. And like, I was seriously trying to make a case to Brandon that, if I made it to the end, that he might have a better chance of beating me.
I wouldn't. I mean, I couldn't beat you. I really thought that the only person I could beat at that point was Nick, and according to Mateus, I probably couldn't have done that. So.
Like, I really think you could have convinced. Like, I feel like I only had Jamila's vote. Like, I feel like Kyle might have been bitter because I got him out, and Simon.
I think it would have been me, Kyle, if you made it to the end.
Yeah, I think it would have been close between me and you, Tom. I think it would have been
like
really
you
close.
got yourself saved when you didn't win the veto that one round by Mateus. That like all the criticisms about my game that people have were legit. Like, I was a really boring player. That's why I couldn't take like you to the end. So if I was going to, then I was just they were gonna be like, what big move did you make, Tom? And then I'd be like, well, I basically made the most obvious move every time I won HOH, and then you'd be able to be like, I would save myself by like getting an enemy to save me during the round I was in the most danger, and like, how am I gonna top that?
Right. See, like, the problem was like, I played so explosive early on, and I think I played too safe at the end. So I think that's where I'm disappointed. I feel like I didn't stay true to how I would play, and I should have gotten you out when I had the chance during my HOH reign. But you did really good, Tom, and you made me really question everything. I was like, why didn't he put me up next to Nick in the final 4? I was like, is this bitch trying to like suck my dick right now? I was like, I'll let him, but fuck.
A little.
Awesome. We're now down to final 3. It seems it's very Nick versus Tom, and it was awesome because it was Tom and Nick versus part 3. And it was down to the very last question. Nick, you are ahead by 1 point. It's all coming down to this final question, and you get it wrong. Tom gets it right. We go to the tiebreaker. Tom wins. What's your feeling as soon as that happened, knowing that it was in your grasp if you just got that question correct?
Disappointment and defeat, because I knew both of us were going to eliminate each other. Like, there's no way we weren't going to bring Brandon to the finals. So I'm an idiot. I should have got Jamila's question right. I'm an idiot, and I deserve to leave for that. So whatever.
Awesome. And Tom, Brandon, like, thank you so much. Y'all were a duo from basically the beginning of the game, and you showed exactly what you need to do to make it to the very end when you're around basics. So yeah, thank you so much. It was a very big pleasure hosting everybody on this call and everybody that participated in Big Brother Basics. It was such a fun ride. Again, a very deserving winner in Tom. Congratulations. Awesome experience. Episodes will be out. All Stars will be made when All Stars comes out if we still have seasons and money for competitions. So stay tuned for Big Brother Basics Season 2. Thank you so much. Have a good night.